Okay, I'm going to try to get this video done before the sun comes. You see it's already starting. It's going to go whoop across. And so I'm going to try to get this video done before the sun says, no, everybody needs to pay attention to me today. I just finished the Dear Julie January Just Junk Journal Challenge with a twist. And I wanted to show you the journal that I got finished. Now, if you've seen a couple of my videos back where I started this a couple of weeks ago, then you'll know that I have really been pushing to get this done in time, because it usually takes me a whole month to finish a journal. So it was exciting to get it done before midnight tonight and be able to show you the video. So the book I used was, the title of the book cover was The Enchanted Heel. And so when I started preparing this, I used the digital of Dear Julie's, which is called the Woodland Hummingbirds, and you can get that digital in her Etsy shop, or Etsy store. And she has one that is regular hummingbirds, and then we have the hummingbird, which is the woodland one. And because it was woodland, I wanted to go with more of the greens and the browns in the book, to be more like you're walking in an organic environment rather than a whimsical environment. And I had taken a napkin and had glued, I'm going to put it up close, you might not see my face, I know, darn the bad luck, right? But I took the napkin and put on the cover, and this green that you can see way back in here, that's the original green of the cover. But then I started putting on some of the dyes. I have put on some gold splatter, but then I've waxed it. And when I put wax on here, I hit it with a heat gun, which makes the wax go down into the book cloth, and it went into the napkin, bringing the napkin forward through all of the inks that I put on here, kind of giving me a little bit of a ghosted effect with the hummingbird on the napkin, and then some of the flowers that are on here also. And after I did that, I went back with a pit pen, which is a permanent black pen, and one of the really fine ones, and I put the black ink then on top, because the title was obscured underneath all of the ink sprays that I put on here. And so you can see on the back also where I put the napkin on there and the inks, and just did layers of it, and then put the wax over it and polished the wax up, and it's got gold splatter in through the layers. And then some of the linen I put on here, and then kind of, because I like to grunge things up, and so I added some ink on there. So this is the peeled paint, peeled paint that was Tim Holtz green that I added on there for that woodland feel. This is a tassel that was part of the challenge that I used using the linen, and I was able to add some gold and broken jewelry. So my beads are from the broken jewelry, and the gold that I used was my gold thread. So I wanted you to see all of that. And then with the linen, I was able to take one piece, and I did some hand sewing and some hand embroidery and made it one piece here, and took and added some of the edging in here to make it look all pretty, and then did the gold embroidery floss. It was a pearlized gold that I put in here to match kind of the colors for the cutout work that was on this. And then this digital is her grungy, I think it's a Grungy Lace is the name of this. All right, so here we go. We're going to step in. I used, on this page was my belly band, and so I did a layered belly band with using some ledger, and the page that I used out of my dictionary had the hummingbird on it. So I wanted to be sure that when I did my layered belly band, that I could still see my hummingbird. And so this layout paper has a napkin on it, and I can put it over to the side, and you still see my hummer. And then here I had some scraps on my desk and a index card, and so I took and added some old invoice piece of paper in the inside of it, and this is a little bit of the spine where it's been taped, and the pages of the book have been taped in there. So that was a book spine and a rusty paper clip, and because we can use our junk, and a rusty paper clip would have been junk that you got to throw away, and this is a scrap then off of that linen. And so that is in this pocket, and I actually put that on there so it wouldn't fall all the way through. And then this was this is from an Artie Mays digital that I just backed with a piece of paper and put a fake stamp up there in the corner, and have that then in this part of the pocket. So that is all a belly band to hold things. And on this page I had, this is a yellow onion dyed paper that I have done. And what I did with the spiral notebook is I took the spiral out, leaving this intact instead of tearing it, because I thought that that really added interest. And I did not put anything through the holes because I was wanting to leave the holes on purpose for some texture. And then put the napkin over here in the corner. We were supposed to come up with a stamp because we're using just junk, so we're not using a lot of product that is purchased. And so for my stamp, I have this candle holder, votive candle holder, that has rarely seen a candle, but it has seen a lot of ink. And so I like to take and make a puddle on my table. When I'm inking around the edge, I will ink it right here on my table, and then spritz it with some water. I've got my little water spray right here. Spritz that, and then take this and put it and slap it down on a piece of paper, twist it a little bit, and I have a stamp now rather than purchase the one. Tim Holtz has a wonderful stamp that has coffee stain stamp that you can do, and this is the Big Mama Free one that I do. And if that doesn't work, you've got the bottom of this that I do in there to make a smaller one, and then my glue stick makes even a smaller one. But right there in the puddle, I don't know if you can see my table. Don't get dizzy, I'm moving you. There. See, I've got a little bit of a stain still on there, but that, I may not get you right now, but that ink does clean up pretty good when I use Mr. Clorox. I am not being paid to promote that, but when it just gets really, really bad and companies come in, I wipe. So I do clean it up, and I actually throw that wipe in the trash. So aren't you proud of me, Bonnie? I have to. Bonnie Lipke throws everything away. I don't throw anything away. Remember the boxes up behind me. That's all normal people trash. Okay, so over here, I took envelopes, and let me see if I have a one where it is a security envelope, and this was my bill from Evergy. And so they kindly said, if you pay your bill, look at what I will do. I will send you crafting supplies. And so they sent me this one, and I picked this one because I liked, this had more of a nature look to it instead of the graphics that, you know, like the hexing and things like that. So this is the reason why I picked this one. I'm sorry. I know that Atmos Energy is out there, and they probably wanted me to promote them, but Evergy, you got this one. And so I copy dyed it, And no, I'm lying. This was tea. These are tea dyed. And so then after I did that, I wanted to still give it a little bit of green. So Tim Holtz came to my rescue. And so I, down here with that green, spritzed it and then added green up into the tea and created that nature look to it. And when I do this, I bake it in the oven. And so to do that, I take the plastic out. And then after I've taken the plastic out, if you'll notice, it would have been glued to this side. But instead, I will take another piece of plastic. I get a lot of items with packaging. And so I will save the packaging if it's not too crinkled up. And that's what this side is then glued on. So that's my pocket. And here is a little card that a child is learning how to say thank you. And that is another napkin that I put on there. No, this is Julie's Digital. Please excuse me. I printed that, and it is with black. And so I went back in then with my watercolor and watercolored in on that one. And then this is a Edith Holden picture. And over here is another pocket behind there that is a napkin and some dictionary page. And it has celebrating and in honor, and then scraps off my desk right there. And some more of that linen on the other side. I'm 11 minutes and I'm only into page 2. Gotta go faster. This is the digital, so you can see what it will print out like, and I printed onto this. So this is one of the other pages of that digital, and we were to make a tab. This is off of her digital, the little tab. And then I have some German books in 1800s, and so I used that page to back it, and just I left it because that to me is art in itself. Again, my little stamp off of the little votive candle. And here is wallpaper that is a tuck, and then I fussy cut around some of the birds off of the digital and put them on there and used some tattered lace. And then this was out of an old book, magazine that I have, that 1883. And so I just grunged it up, and so it really is just for a journaling spot. And then I have some tape on there to where I tore it when I was grunging it. I don't mean to. It was an accident. I did say oopsie. And you'll notice that there are a few more pages of that magazine throughout here of the almanac. This was our hidden paper clip, and I used a napkin on it and some gold edging, an antique postcard that I have. And then this was Julie's Digital. I fussy cut around it and had a scrap of the envelope that I put the digital on for the tab. And so this is the other side of the hidden paper clip. We were also supposed to do an edge, so I have the punch. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I have this edge punch, and it's in all of my journals practically. I love that punch, by the way. And so I punched envelope and hit it with some green and then some gold on there. And then on the other side, you can see the gold. So I wanted it to have like a little bit of a metallic look to it, like foiling, but it's just paper. And then this one I added, this is where I used the garment that had some of the lace on it that is cut up. So I put that and made a cloth fabric pocket and added some buttons that I had and some scraps of lace that I put on here and did some hand stitching. If you can see, I've got some French knots in around there. And then this is watercolor that I put on the page. And This is that German paper. This is my hidden journaling card, and so it was a greeting card, and you can see it was a AmeriCare greeting card that I grunged up with some inks, and then inside here is the other part of the greeting card as my journaling card part, and took and put some tattered lace. And when I say tattered, I take a piece of lace and I tatter it. Sorry, my bad. And then got a little bit of gold inking on it. And so that is a repurposed greeting card. In my cloth pocket with my antique buttons, I am getting into, since I have 12 tins, I thought maybe I could use 1 or 2 of the buttons. Some more of the digital. And then we were to make a stamp. And so what I did was stamped a book page and use that as my stamp to go on the page. So there is my stencil that I made on, we were supposed to do it on 5 pages, but I did it on a few more than that. And this is again the onion skin dyed paper, and the other page wasn't quite big enough to go all the way, so I took a remnant of it and glued it down together to make it long enough. And then where I had it come together, I have just a little tuck here that you can add something private if you want. Excuse me. Wait, you might panic. Oh, she got germs on her book. I know you're out there, little Miss OCD, because little Miss OCD is sitting here too. You wouldn't think that, huh? Okay, so after hitting, when I was dyeing several of the paper pages, the blue that's on here for the lines starts to get in the water. I'm hoping that that's going to be okay, because now the fumes are getting to me. So anyway, this, as it, I take and I put the paper in the oven at 250 so that I can do a whole bunch instead of waiting a few days. I want to get it done, and so in an hour I can do like a notebook. So as the water gets more and more of that blue ink leached into the tea, it starts creating some really cool colors here. And so I just want you to know, you're going to have some fun dyeing your papers. All right, so back to doing the edging. And we finally finished in 18 minutes. We finished the first signature. I think I've established some ground. And here we're moving on. And I've got some stenciled area, the side of the page, some pop, pop, pop. And this is my top tuck using the envelope. You guys knew it. And I put it on a scrap of the scrapbook paper. I guess I call those paper pads. So I need to get with it. On the edge of this, I made tea bag ruffles. And then this is French knotting along the edge to create some texture. And then I gold splattered. And this is another digital of Julie's, which are the end papers. And so use those. This is part of the Woodland Hummingbirds on a piece of coffee dyed index paper. And then we were, I made a waterfall. And when I made it, this top here is with a napkin, and it almost has a leather feel to it, which I really, really enjoy. And then I made some paper beads using scrap and had still some little beads left over from that necklace. And then have scraps of paper that I've used and went through here and did gold splatter on them to make sure that they're cohesive all the way through, even though they're scraps. And scrap of book page where I've take some masking tape on there and then take off the words. And so these are all the scraps out of the scrap pile that I used. Woohoo! It's always good when we use our scraps. And this is again photocopy of my almanac, 1883, and some more of my paper that I dyed, and digital page with the edge. And then here in Julie's digital is a bank envelope that I made for a flip up, flip down, and I sewed it into the center of the digital, of the signature, and then made this rosette out of scraps of paper, and that way it just slides up underneath the rosette to keep it closed. And then when I pull it open, this is tucked up underneath the bottom of the rosette to hold it, and then that rosette is glued onto the rosette to come up, so that you have all of that. But then you also have a hidden pocket here with some more of Julie's digital and a writing spot. With all of that said and done, shall we move on? There we go. See how easy that is to close. And you can put all kinds of secrets and some more journaling spot. And this is my floating pocket I made. And so the floating pocket here, I have on this part of it, first of all, I used one of these envelopes that's like this. And so I think we call those a policy envelope. That's what I called it. So I put a piece of, well, it's where when you poke holes, you're not going to go all the way through. I can't remember what the name of the pad is, mat under there. But I put a little hole here, a little here, cut a couple of lines, and now I have a pocket on this part of the envelope up here. And then this is the flap of the envelope that I took and just ran glue right on the edge here to keep that flap this way. And took under the flap, I made the tea bag ruffle to grab it some interest. And this was my something special because Sarita had dyed this envelope, and Sarita's items are just very, very precious to me. This is Julie's digital. I glued it down to one of the little dividers for an index card box. And then on top of the digital, if you can see that shine, I used some of my kiwi wax here and put it on there and then buffed it with a soft towel to give it that nice luster and makes it look almost glassy. And edged around everything with the gold pin. Then on the bottom half, where I take the envelope and folded it in half, then on this half, on the bottom where the flap was, I just cut that flap around here to create another pocket on this end and did an index card here. But I also did a hidden paper clip that it looks more like a tab and just a scrap of my dictionary page to hold that in there and keep it from going all the way through so that you can see that a little bit better. And then on this side, I put journaling spot. So this is my floating pocket, and with it, you can take and put it on some pages like that if you want it on the outside, or you can literally just put it in the middle and have it floating around. And so I put my tab up there. This is Julie's digital. Talking way too much. Bottom tuck on that one. Julie's digital. Here, some more of that stain On this side, I just put some scrap of book page for interest. And then we were supposed to do well, I get to pick what they were, but I needed to use, on this one I used an advertisement out of a magazine page and grunged it around the edges, and then that opens up. And one of my favorite pins that I have, I don't know if you know about it, but I learned somebody's video, and I don't know if it was Tina or if it was Pam from the Paper Outpost, if it was Natasha from the Treasure Book, or Nick the Booksmith. You all educated this woman, and Artie Mays. You guys are all scrambled up in here having a party. Elegant Writer. You can tell I've used it a bit because you can barely see the Elegant Writer on there anymore. You put this on, and then you get it wet, and you can see the blues and the greens and the purples. This goes on really dark, dark blue, almost black, and then when you get it wet, it bleeds out like that. It does magic. It should be called the Magic Elegant Writer, and I use that quite often, and in the book I used it quite a bit. There we go, 26 minutes. It says it on the video. So double tuck. So I've got a little ticket that on the back of it is, you got it, I love it. And then here is some more of Julie's digital, and this one you can see the difference, how it's matte versus the shiny. And so I left this one matte to show you the difference between the two. And then just some scrapbook paper on the back and some more of the old dictionary. And this was wrapping paper that I used here. And then here I got a little flap spot that you can write on. And here my magazine that I used was a 1996, I think, needlework magazine, and in the middle they have patterns, and so I took the black and white pattern and added some of the watercolor to it. And so this pattern is called Cherry Blossoms Cross Stitch Chart, and so it was too long for me to feel comfortable with it being on the page, but I didn't want to lose the title. So I cut the title off and put it on top, and then did the gold pin on it. I had thought about leaving this as a tuck, but Julie says every pocket, every tuck, every belly band has to have something in it for the challenge. And so I thought, well, I'm just gluing that down. I ain't putting nothing in it. How about that? So I guess that is a glued down belly band pocket. And here we go. Is that not the most beautiful postcard? It's still blank on the back if you want to send that to anybody. But I saw that and I thought those colors just say, yeah, that's my home. That's where I need to go. And so I did. I put it right there. And next page, dictionary page, tab, some more of that old book, magazine, almanac, Julie's digital, some more of my pretend like it's metal edging, center of the signature. I'm going faster because I know you guys are about ready to wring my neck. All this talking. Over here, I just have to brag about it because I think that is just really, really so timeless. I love this digital. And then where I took the pages apart, the cover was kind of stuck, and I had started to tear it, and I thought, oh no, what am I going to do? And I thought, tear it the rest of the way. So, and that's some of the blue off of that one page where you saw the cover. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to go back and show you. Here we go. This is not English. I know that, even though I'm not smart. And then over here, some rings around the bottom. And then I made a notepad and used a guest check and a napkin and some tattered lace. And I used, on this one, I had, you see how the pages are folded over. But what I did was, you can take them out, unfold them long, but they all go where you can flip them up, but I left them all long. I hope any of that made sense. I hope you were like, wow, I can do that too. I didn't want to cut them because they had such cool stuff written on them. And so you've got a lot of journaling space there, and they're all in one piece. And I used some cardstock here. And this says on the bottom of this paper, life is the sum of all of your choices. I thought that was pretty neat. And again, this is a napkin that was put on a guest check, some of my tattered lace, and here is some tatting that I put on there, and made a little spot up here at the top where you can, I'm doing all this so you can see, oh, that's how you did it, I'm gonna do it too. You go with it. I stole that idea from somebody years ago. And guess what? Ta-da! The end. Go get Julie's Digitals. You know, we don't want the girl to starve to death. Yeah, I had to say that, didn't I? Thank you for dropping in. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.